Great day. Today, Sharks, we are going to be discussing how to harness your degeneracy. Because I know a lot of you out there are hardcore degenerates, and I want to make sure that your degeneracy does not wreck you. Before we get started, we have a little bit of housekeeping. Do you see my thing autofocus? We may have to fix that. We're on a new computer, so we have a slightly different setup than normal, but that's okay. We're changing the name of the show. It used to be called A Little Coffee. Well, now, it's A Little Brain Fuel. Yeah. Look, if you all know me at all, you know that I have gone through a whole lot of coffee. And I still go through coffee. I wake up in the morning and I have some coffee. But I do not want to have to drink coffee all the time. And also, I want something that's relatively healthy. And I finally found it. I've been drinking Brain Fuel for about 3 months now. One canister per day. It's called a canister. 1 bottle per day. There are a few flavors. And essentially, it has what you need to have long, sustained energy throughout the day. It is meant to be a cerebral beverage. Can you all see that? Maybe you can't see it. Anyway, it says a cerebral beverage. It tastes kind of like thick-ish Powerade. So imagine souped up Powerade. There you go. I like it a lot. And it's also something you don't have to drink a lot of, which is good. Most of the energy comes from like coconut oil, MCT oil. It has collagen in it, vitamin C, etc., etc. Really, it's exactly what you need to have long-lasting energy throughout the day. You can get 15% off. Check it out. Brainfuel.com. Use promo code POKERCOACHING. I like it. I wouldn't be talking to you about it if I did not like it. And, they are actively trying to get into the market of people who need to think to succeed. So they are making a drink for people like poker players, chess players, anyone who does anything strategy related. And, it works. I don't know what to tell you. It works. So someone already asked, what do you mean by harnessing your degeneracy? Look, I'm not going to say this is definitively true, but if you look at a lot of the best poker players in the world, they all have a little bit of crazy in them. Just a little bit of crazy, okay? Myself included. You gotta be a little bit willing to gamble kind of hard when it makes logical sense to become a professional poker player. If you see an edge, you got to take the edge because the edges don't come up all that often, right? And if you consistently turn down the edges, you pass up on good bets, you're just not going to make any money. I hate to break it to you, you just will not make any money. Did I spill this all over my shirt? Go figure. A little brain fuel all over my shirt. So today I want to talk about a few things you can do to harness your degeneracy to make sure that your spewiness, that your insanity stays under control. So, first things first, a lot of people don't actually have to go off all that often. There's this idea that people need to blow off steam, right? I never really felt this until COVID happened. Because COVID has forced me to stay at home, makes it impossible for me to get up and go to various casinos and play poker, hang out with friends and have a party, right? And the fact that you are stuck at home doing the same routine all day, every day, which, to be fair, is what a lot of people deal with on their day-to-day work, you need to get out there, you need to go off a little bit. Now, used sparingly, I have no problem with the idea of going off a little bit. Do whatever you want, but you want to make sure that you have systems in place such that you cannot go off all that hard. What happens to a lot of people is they decide, all right, I'm going to go to the casino this weekend, and I'm going to take $500. I'm going to play some blackjack or some poker, and I'm going to have some drinks with my friends, and it's going to be a party. They go there, they start having their party, everything's fine and dandy. Then they get tilted for some reason. Either because they lose some money quickly, or perhaps because they win some money quickly, and they think they're going to run like God. Next thing you know, their $500 vanishes. They go to the ATM, they get out 500 more, that vanishes. They go to the ATM, they get 1,000 more, that vanishes. They go and they get a credit card loan or whatever they do. That charges them 7% VIG. They lose that. Next thing you know, they're going off the deep end. They're down 12K and their life is in the gutter. So, this is a situation where you have to make sure that does not happen. So, essentially, you want to make sure that you do not have the ability to get that first loan. Maybe you have to have a little bit of barriers in place where, like you're capped at 2 drinks or 1 drink. You know what I mean? Like you need to figure out where you really start to go off the deep end, right? And if you never get to that point where you really start to go off the deep end, then you'll just be fine, right? Like, I know Jonathan Little can have 1 glass of wine, no problem. But when Jonathan Little has 2 glasses of wine, it starts to get on the border. And once he has 3, all bets are off. We're going off the deep end. And that's not where you want to be. Unless, of course, you have your 1 allotted go-off time per month or whatever you want to call it, right? And like John says here, right? Don't bring your debit card to the casino. Yeah, exactly, right? Like if you go to the casino and you have $500 to play with, and that's it, you don't need your credit card. You don't need your debit card. You don't need any of these things. Now, of course, you may get out there and lose your money, not have any money to get home or something like that. If you're going to be doing something like that, I mean, I don't know, keep $100 in your wallet to get a car ride home or whatever you need. But you know what I'm saying, right? Don't set yourself up to where it's easy to go off. I, personally, have never gotten credit at a casino, even though they're always trying to give it to me. Why have I never gotten credit at a casino? Because I know they'll give me a whole lot of credit, and I don't want to lose, or have the potential to lose, a whole lot of money. Even though it would make life a little bit easier to know I could go to the casino and they just give me $100K. That way I'd never have to take money to the casino, right? Then I could wire it to them or whatever after the fact. It's just not worth it. I don't want to have that tiny possibility that in some world I end up going off for a whole load of money for no real reason, even though I know that's like not even me, right? Like I know that's not even how I operate, but I recognize it could. It could. How do you overcome a gambling problem while playing poker? Very often you get in flips, etc., etc. I mean, look, you can play poker as nitty or as gambly as you would like. And you have to figure out a way to get that out of there, right? Assuming, like, you like to gamble near the bubble, or you tend to go off on the bubble because you think that's what you're supposed to do. Then, if that's the case, recognize this, right? And realize, okay, we're nearing bubble time. I typically go off here. Don't go off here today. And then don't go off here today, right? Also, try to figure out things you can actually just completely remove for your life. Let's say you know that you do not want to be gambling, let's say. And you have a problem with this. Let's say you go to play poker. Whenever you lose, on the way out, you hit the blackjack table and try to run hot and run your money up. And then you end up losing more half the time, or 58% of the time, whatever it is. Let's say you have this issue where you hit the blackjack table on the way out. Well, if you actually wanted to do this, you could tell the casino to ban you from blackjack. Now, of course, you may not have to present your card when you play and all this, etc. But the fact that you go up there and say, hey, I don't want to play blackjack here, ban me from the blackjack table, that might actually be what you need. You could also just leave the different direction, right? Maybe you could play at a poker room that doesn't have the blackjack tables right in front of the poker area. A long time ago, must have been 15 years ago, I had issues with sports betting. I love betting on sports, like a degenerate. And at Bellagio, the sports book might as well be right inside the poker room. So what I do? I stopped playing at Bellagio. There were other places to play. I like Bellagio. I have nothing against Bellagio. I like Bellagio very much. But at that point in my life, I had a bit of a problem, and I knew I needed to get off of it. So instead of going and sitting and looking at the sports book all day while I was playing poker, just go somewhere else. It's a bit of a band-aid to the problem, but you'll find that once you get off of things, you typically... It's way easier to stay off of those things, right? Like if you don't drink alcohol for a month, you're going to find that it's way easier to go one more day, right? Whereas if you don't bet on sports or blackjack or whatever, if you break the habit, you're going to find that it's easier to, stay off that habit. Yeah, same thing at Borgata, says Polly. It's actually not so bad at Borgata because the sports book is like in a completely different room. In Bellagio, it's like literally right in the same area. That's how it is in a lot of casinos, though. Sports book and poker kind of go hand in hand. They put the games that are potentially beatable in the same area. All right. Let's see. You can also use the degeneracy as a bit of a reward for good things, for good work. Let's say you decide that, I don't know, whenever you build your bankroll from $10,000 to, let's say, $20,000, you're going to give yourself $500 to go throw a party. Whatever that means for you. Right? As long as you're not completely butchering your mind and your relationships, etc. Take your $500, go have a nice dinner. Go gamble at the casino, right? Do whatever you want, right? If you happen to lose 5% of your money, it's okay. As long as you have a good time. Maybe you go to dinner and a show with your significant other. Maybe you go on a getaway for the weekend, right? But use it as a reward to the point that you have done so well, to the point that if you do have a minimal, call it setback, it's okay, right? What you don't want to do is you do not want to get in the idea of every time you win or lose, or let's say every time you win, you go and you spew a bit, right? But some people do very wrong is every time they win, they take basically all their winnings and they spend it on something. And when they lose, they just don't spend any money. So essentially, every time they go to play poker, they lose because when they win, they spend it all on some nonsense like a new music record or a pair of shoes. And whenever they lose, they just lose. So they lose no matter what, right? And that's really, really, really not what you want to be doing. So you have to make sure that you are reasonable with this, right? You also want to make sure that you do not develop very, very clear bad habits around your poker play. What I mean by that is, I know some people who are perfectly great when they are at home. They are in shape, they work out, they don't drink and do drugs, they do their work 9 to 5 or however long they need to do. But then when they go to the casino, they just lose their minds. Which may be fine if you are a very recreational poker player. But if you're trying to take poker seriously, you can't use that time away from home to lose your mind because you are trying to take it seriously. What they do is, as soon as they get on the airplane, they start downing the drinks, they get to the casino, they do some drugs, they go and they play cards all day. And next thing you know, they just are drawing stone dead to ever win, right? And if you are taking poker seriously, you have to realize that's not the activities you get to partake in on this type of trip, right? And that is very, very relevant to realize that you need to partition the various extracurricular activities you have in such a way that they don't necessarily overlap too hard. Otherwise, you're just going to ruin all of it because not a whole lot. I mean, imagine you go and you drink a lot of alcohol and you lose a bunch of money playing cards. You're not going to enjoy your time at all. And that's not good, right? It's not good. And that is what's going to happen a decent chunk of the time. And you want to make sure you enjoy your experience. So make sure you enjoy your experience. Do I live in Vegas? No. Sports betting can't be beat unless you have some serious inside info, which you don't. Mark, I actually disagree. I know a few people who crush sports betting. They do not have inside information. They just have math. And a lot of arbitrage. All right. I have a bunch of notes scribbled here. Let's talk about people who have bad habits in general. Let's say you have bad habits in general. Let's say you drink too much alcohol, right? During COVID time, alcohol has it's crushed some people, and other people have gotten completely off it. How? Let's think about this. Let's say we want to stop drinking alcohol, okay? We know we're going to be stuck at home because of COVID. And we want to get off of it. We know it's not good for us. We don't want that in our lives right now. What should you do? You know you're not going out anywhere. Well, the easy answer to this is don't have any in the house. Make a rule for yourself such that you do not drink when you are at home. You're not going anywhere, so therefore you're never going to get to drink, right? Let's say you don't want to play blackjack anymore, or baccarat, or sports betting, or whatever. Make a rule for yourself such that you do not do this at particular times. Now, let's say you like sports betting, and you want to sports bet every once in a while. Do your best to partition it, right? Say, all right, I'm going to bet on sports, but only on very major events. You get the Super Bowl, you get the World Series of Baseball, and you get the NBA Finals. You get 3 big sports bets per year. And you go off, you have fun, you have a party. You don't bet all your money, of course, but you get your 3 times per year. Have fun, enjoy it. Right? But you realize that you can't really go off all that much, assuming you don't bet infinite whenever you do bet, if you don't bet all that often. So definitely keep that in mind. Also, you're going to find that if you do have a bit of the degenerate personality, you are probably going to go through phases of your life where you feel very, very motivated and driven to do things. And you can go through other periods of your life where you don't feel like doing a whole lot at all. This happens to me a little bit, not so much compared to what I've seen other people experience, but sometimes you are going to be gung-ho, ready to do the work, and at other times you're going to be like, oh my God, I don't want to do anything. And when you do feel the gung-ho, let's do it, let's do all of the work, emotions going through your head, do the work, do it, right? Make sure the people around you in your life know, all right, I have this tendency where I like to go hard or then not go at all. And with any luck, they will support you, right? That may be sometimes long nights, right? I put in plenty of long nights building pokercoaching.com and getting good at poker, right? And that's fine because the people in my life know that that is how I operate. What happens to a lot of people is they get the drive to do a lot of the work, and they're set up in life such that they work only, let's say, 9 to 5. But in reality, this is the prime time for them to work 9 until, 20 hours from then. And they kind of squander that opportunity. So when you do feel we'll call it good degeneracy, right? You want to do the work, you want to sit there and grind it out, you need to capitalize on it. Because there are going to be other days where if you work only 9 to 5, you're going to show up for work and not feel like doing anything at all. And while you should try to push through it a little bit, I'm going to venture to say that you actually should not fight it all that hard, right? Because if you do fight it very, very hard, then you're just kind of going to be unhappy. You're not going to get a lot done. So figure out things you can do that are really easy, that don't take a whole lot of drive, that you can do during the periods of time that you are not feeling fully with it, right? There's a book I like a lot, Personal Organization for Degenerates by Brandon Adams, world-class poker player. He's done all sorts of stuff in life. Now he crushes daily fantasy sports. Going back to sports betting not being beatable, tell that to Brandon Adams, who wins all the money. Personal Organization for Degenerates. This is a good book that will teach you really just how to manage your life if you go through periods like this. Narcissist says this really hits home. Well, good. I'm glad to hear it, right? Small book, tiny book. But the neat thing about books is that you'd rather them be shorter than longer if they're concise. And this is a good, solid, concise book. Another thing a lot of you are discussing is habits. There's a good book I like called Atomic Habits by James Clear. Good, solid book on developing good habits. The book discusses all sorts of things you can do to replace bad habits with good habits, to make the good habits really desirable and the bad habits really undesirable, right? To the point that you just don't want to do the bad things. And you're going to find that if you don't want to do the bad things, then you're going to do the good things, right? Now, of course, you want to make sure that you are not replacing bad things with other equally bad things. Like what some people do. They say, all right, I'm going to stop playing blackjack, but then they go and they play baccarat instead. It's not what you want to be doing. That's not what I'm saying. But you do want to make sure that you are essentially making good use of your life. I mean, look at this. At the end of the day, we have one life, right? And if you squander it doing nonsense, especially things that ruin your body or your mind, that's going to not work out so well for you, especially towards the end of your life. I mean, if you look at a lot of young people, they drink like fish and don't sleep and they don't work out and they eat terribly. And they're okay. But it's kind of clear that if you wreck yourself early in your life, even if it does not impact you so much early in your life, it's going to impact you a lot as you get a little bit older. So you want to make sure you make the hard decisions now so that you have easy situations later. If you practice delayed gratification such that you realize, all right, I'm going to go to a party, everybody else is going to have 18 drinks, I'm going to have 1 or 2 or maybe 3. You're going to be way better off than they are down the road because you're going to have all your brain cells, or at least the majority of them, and your body's going to be in better shape. How do you know what you want, let alone the good and bad things? How do you know what you want? You got to sit down and you got to think about it. What do you want in life? Well, let's think about some obvious ones, Mike. Most people want to be financially secure, right? Most people want to be healthy. Most people want to have good relationships around them, right? These things don't just happen. You have to cultivate all of these things, right? And if you just hope all these things fall in your lap, it's not going to work out, right? I mean, this happens to a lot of people when they get, I guess, roughly my age, 35, 40, somewhere in that region, where if they are not already married or with a significant other, they start thinking, oh man, I need to make this happen if I'm going to make this happen, which, is not necessarily a logical thought, but it is what a lot of people think. And if you want to find a significant other, you can't just sit around your house watching Netflix by yourself. You have to go out and find people, interact with people, right? So you have to use a little bit of thought process and figure out what you want. Now, how do you determine things that are quote-unquote good or bad? Well, some things are just obviously bad, right? Like, for example, we talked about alcohol a bunch today. If you drink a gallon of wine every night, that's probably bad, right? If you spend too much money, if you have a spending problem, let's say you make $5,000 per month and you spend $8,000 per month on nonsense, that's probably bad, right? Because you're never going to be financially secure. So, you need to use a little bit of logic. Now, I definitely recommend everyone take a look at the things that they do and ask if they are good or bad. Something I have, I'm not going to say struggled with, but something I've considered is, should I be playing this children's card game called Hearthstone? I like this children's card game called Hearthstone. It takes 20 minutes to play, and I'll play 2 games per day. So 40 minutes per day I spend playing Hearthstone. Is that bad? I fully recognize that as a bit of a degenerate myself, you need to have periods of, we'll call it rest, right? And if you grind hard all day every day, you'll inevitably get burnt out. What I do is at lunchtime, I'll usually play a game or 2 of Hearthstone. Towards the end of the night, if my wife's busy working or something and I don't feel like working, if I'm going through that period of not feeling like grinding hard, we'll play a game or 2 of Hearthstone. But it's completely wasted time beyond the idea that I'm playing a strategy game, therefore I'm keeping my brain sharp, etc., which I'm not so sure that matters because there's plenty of other things I could be doing. But you see, this is something that many people view as completely innocuous, playing a game on your phone. Yet, I'm sitting here trying to assess, is this actually bad? To be fair, we don't play Hearthstone, the regular game. We play Battlegrounds, of course. Battlegrounds is great. So anyway, you need to figure out if that's actually what you want in life. Because you could spend that 40 hours per day doing things like studying poker, studying a foreign language, getting a degree, watching strategy videos on any topic, right? And you got to be aware of that, right? What exactly are we calling a degenerate? I don't know. Look up the definition. Basically, in my mind, we're going to call it people who have the potential to go off the deep end, who don't really mind it as much as they potentially should. You say Minecraft helps you avoid poker burnout. Well, see, again, but John, this is a great example. Minecraft is a stone waste of time, just like Hearthstone is a stone waste of time. But is that okay? It's probably okay, used in moderation. Most things are actually fine when used in moderation. But what a lot of people do, myself a long time ago, is they will have a rough time at poker, and they'll just stop playing poker and only play the nonsense games. Back in the day, Duralian here says playing Magic is the best. I used to play a lot of Magic the Gathering, and There was, I think, 2 months when I was 18 to 21 where all I did for the entire month was play Magic the Gathering online. I'm talking like 12 hours a day, every day for a month. Why did I do that? Because the previous month, poker did not go great, so I decided, you know what, I'm going to take a break and I'm going to chill. Which, you know, could be fine, but you probably don't want to go off the deep end and spend all of your time doing something that's a complete waste of your time. Because, like I said, we only have so much time, right? And let's say, for example, you're not financially secure already. Let's say you don't have lots of money, okay? But you want to get a lot of money. You want to get financially secure. Should you be spending your time doing things like playing games? Like Magic the Gathering, Hearthstone, Candy Crush, whatever you want to call it. League of Legends, anything, right? Should you be spending your time doing this if your actual goal, if what you actually want, is to get financially secure? And the answer is obviously no, right? You should be spending your time learning some sort of skill that will help you improve your life, right? And the thing is, all of these games that we've mentioned, they stroke your ego a little bit. Winning in these games strokes your ego, and people like to have their ego stroked. Nothing more fun than stroking your own ego, am I right? This is a situation where you have to realize that, again, I'm going to, instead of stroking my ego, I am going to learn a skill that's going to help me succeed long term, right? And that's kind of difficult to do, especially when you don't really get gratification from a lot of these things immediately. A lot of the time, this stuff takes a very, very long time. What do you think about day trading cryptocurrency? I've talked to one of the most profitable day traders in cryptocurrency, and he says you would have to be an idiot to day trade cryptocurrency unless you are completely devoted to it and you are a very world-class programmer, which I am not completely devoted to it, and I'm also not a world-class programmer. Everybody looks at times like right now where crypto's kind of booming, and they think, oh, this is easy. I'm just going to win all the cryptocurrency. But you don't know how markets work for the most part. If you have to ask me this question, that is not you. From what I understand from talking to hedge fund managers, a few of the actual big winners in all of these trading environments, unless you are like literally the best in the world, you don't want to touch it. Invest it, set it and forget it. Top Step says meditation is the best skill to work on long term if you want long-term success, you feel. So meditation is an interesting thing. I've tried it a decent amount. I say a decent amount, certainly not a ton, but a decent amount. I'm not going to say it is not for me, but I definitely think it's not for me compared to like what a lot of other people think it is for them. This may sound slightly egotistical. Got to stroke our ego here, but I don't think I have a whole lot of nonsense that goes through my brain, whereas a lot of people have a lot of nonsense going through their brain. They think about a lot of things that just don't matter. And I think, for whatever reason, my brain is very naturally good at figuring out what matters, and then I'm generally willing to do it. Like, for example, I'll have my lunch, I'll play my game of Hearthstone, and then after my game of Hearthstone, I don't play another game. It's easy to click the button, play another game, but I don't click the button. Why? Because I know I need to do the work, right? And I'm typically pretty good at knowing what work needs to get done. And I think meditation helps people get through a lot of the nonsense. And if you know you have an issue falling into nonsense, like I went over to a poker player's house one day to help with some poker project, and he just like wanted to play video games all day. I'm like, what in the world are you doing? Why are you sitting here playing video games literally all day? He's like, yeah, I have a problem with procrastination. But it's like, you just gotta do the work, man. I don't know what to tell you. You literally just have to get up and do the work. Realize that the work must be done, you must do the work. Do you still strive to win a World Series poker bracelet? Well, clearly not. You have to realize that your actions indicate what you want in life, what you actually want in life. Good example of this. I thought for a long time I really wanted to learn another language. 1 minute. Thomas, be quiet, buddy. Be quiet, please. Thomas is yelling his rump off out there. I thought I wanted to learn another language for a long time. But I really didn't, because I didn't sit down and study and do the work. that implies I may think I want to learn this. It would be nice to just like, in the Matrix, put a needle in my brain and inject it into me. But I don't actually want to do the work. So you know what? I don't actually want that. Let's talk about the World Series of Poker, right? Last 4 years since I had my kids, I've played, I don't know, half of a summer, a third of a summer. And I've been home the rest of the time. Why? Because I'd rather be a good dad than win a World Series of Poker bracelet. For me, given my situation, I do not think that I should be leaving my kids for 2.5 months at a time. Just don't think I should be doing that, right? So, I am sacrificing winning bracelets, winning poker tournaments, being the best poker player I can be, in exchange for being a good dad. At least a better dad, right? Maybe not even necessarily a good dad, but at least a present dad. And I think that is worth it at this point in life. So, do I strive to win a World Series of Poker bracelet? The answer is clearly not. I value my family more than I value any poker accolades. Sometimes you need to reset your chi. I don't even know what that means. You're loving this video. I'm glad to hear it. If you all like this video, do me a favor. Click the like button. Click the subscribe button. Anybody order Brain Fuel yet? If you ordered Brain Fuel, let me know. I have no clue if any of you are actually going to try the Brain Fuel. I'm telling you, though, I am so happy with Brain Fuel. I have a coffee in the morning. About an hour later, I have the Brain Fuel, and I'm like actually good to go until like 8 p.m. It is, it's shockingly good. Let's see. Okay, what else do I have written down here about harnessing your degeneracy? I think I mostly hit all of it. Check out these 2 books. Look, if your life is not together, if your life is a little bit shaky, if you know that you do things that you don't want to be doing, if you know that you go off the deep end, check out these 2 books. Atomic Habits and Personal Organization for Degenerates. Yeah? I think they will be very, very helpful for you. What is Brain Fuel comparable to? I mean, it's essentially just like a very, very healthy energy drink that allows you to think clearly all day. Poker players must think clearly for long periods of time, and I used to just drink lots and lots of coffee when I was playing poker. Every 2 hours I'd have a cup of coffee, which is clearly not ideal, but if you do it, for a week at a time, it's probably not the end of the world. That said, it's certainly not ideal. So anyway, Brain Fuel has all sorts of stuff you need. MCT oil, coconut oil, caffeine from green coffee beans, vitamin C, vitamin D, calcium, vitamin E, all sorts of good stuff. I like it. Check it out, brainfuel.com. Use promo code POKERCOACHING to get 15% off. Give it a try. You may like it. Let's see. But yeah, if you have degeneracy issues, look, if you want to get anything out of your life, you have to make it a priority. Realize that most of the things you do in life are habits, right? And you have to figure out a way to change the bad ones and also improve the good ones. A beautiful example of this is, let's say you want to get in better shape. Well, easy thing to do, very easy thing to do, is to get a pull-up bar and put it in a doorway, right? And then every time you walk through that doorway, do some pull-ups. Start slow, do 1. If you can't do a pull-up, just hang there and try to do a pull-up. But if you walk through, let's say from your, living room to your bedroom 5 times per day, and you do any number of pull-ups per day, whereas in the past, you did you did 0 pull-ups per day, that is going to go a long way to helping you improve your skills. Let's talk about learning poker, right? Let's say you want to get good at poker. Resolve that every day after your session, instead of having a bottle of wine and cheesecake, you study your hands for at least an hour. Let's say you know that you're going to go through 5 key hands that you are not sure what you should do, and you're going to try to figure out what you should have done in those spots, right? If you go through that process every single day that you play, that's going to result in you getting in study time, right? And, you just have to figure out what you want. What was that second book? Atomic Habits. 2 books here. Atomic Habits by James Clear. It's a good one on habits. Yeah? Let's see. How do you stop drinking caffeine? An easy way to stop drinking caffeine is to get it out of your house. Ban it. I mean, look, in reality, how do you get off anything? Make it impossible to use, right? Just like literally make it impossible to use. And I do think you should get off caffeine, by the way. Great way to keep all of these things potent and nice and to the point that you don't have to just like completely binge them to get any effect is to get off of them a lot. For example, I was just away for the weekend and I had no caffeine all weekend, right? And it's good. Gives you a little bit of a reset, so this is a little bit more potent. Every time before I go on a poker trip, I get off the caffeine. That said, I may not get off Brain Fuel. I like Brain Fuel a lot. This has remained very, very potent over the course of the last 3 months or so since I've been on it. So it's a liquid multivitamin. To some extent, a liquid multivitamin. I guess that is what it is to some extent. Let's see. Do I have a podcast? Yeah, check out the Poker Coaching Podcast. It's made up of a lot of the other content I make, but in the audio format. Like this show, right? This show is going to be on there. This is completely audio format. You do 10 push-ups a day. You have not missed in 2.2 years. Great job, Marianne. Good job. Good work. And that's exactly it, right? And if you want to up it a little bit, you're going to find that if you can do 10, and you've done it for 2.2 years, you can probably do 12, right? And that type of thing is going to go a long way to just allowing you to continuously improve. What is Brain Fuel? It is a cerebral beverage. It says right here under here. What flavors do they have? They have 4 flavors, I believe. It tastes kind of like concentrated Powerade. So if you want to know what it tastes like. I like it. I mean, look, it's not like, oh my God, that's so delicious. I have to drink as many as I can. But it's fine. Like, I have no problem with it. I mean, I drink the thing, no problem. I don't know. I like it. Give it a try. Look, if you are in a position like me, where you're going to have to sit and be kind of stagnant for long periods of time, multiple days in a row, and you need your brain to function clearly, and you don't like your current solution, whatever it is, maybe your current solution is green tea or black tea or coffee or whatever, give it a try. I mean, look, I'm a big fan of experimenting and seeing what works. Whenever I was first pitched on Brain Fuel, I was like, oh my God, another drink. I don't like these drinks. Because I am like actively against energy drinks, like Red Bull and whatnot, because they're just like straight up unhealthy, right? But not really anything unhealthy in Brain Fuel. And I don't know, I like it. It's good. How do you do with folding pre-flop when you end up flopping a good hand? Well, if you fold it, you're out of the hand. Doesn't matter what comes after you fold. If you want to get off of caffeine and you currently drink a lot, you just have to know you're going to feel like you have the flu for a week. Yeah, right? Quit smoking for poker and work harder on your poker skills. But somehow you're not getting the results for the last 3 months. Well, first things first, 3 months is not a ton of time unless you're playing very low variance games, like small stakes cash games or something. But quitting smoking is a very good thing, right? Smoking is detrimentally bad for poker because you got to get up and go smoke. And you miss hands. But I mean, look, I don't know. I don't know your exact situation, but you're going to have variance in poker. And it's important to realize that and accept that because there are swings, right? Especially if you're not playing a lot. If you're a recreational poker player and you play 3 live tournaments per week, yeah, you're going to have a lot of swings over the course of however many tournaments it is. It's not even very many tournaments. Talking about sugar content. Total grams of sugar, 5 grams of sugar in here. Not a ton. You want a prop bet right now to quit smoking. Good luck, do it. I'm sure there are probably other cerebral beverages out there. I like Brain Fuel a lot, though, because they are not trying to necessarily go after some gigantic market. They are trying to go after the market of people who need to think clearly for long periods of time. This is not a hyper energy drink. This is not going to make you all hyper like 5 Hour Energy or Red Bull. It's not going to make you feel like that. It doesn't make me feel like that, at least. makes me feel focused, which is exactly what I need to be feeling, right? It's kind of the reason I did not love coffee or tea, because I didn't really feel focused. I felt like alert, but not focused. And I mean, I'm telling you all, poker players need focus. It's vitally important. Okay. Anyway, check out brainfuel.com. Use code POKERCOACHING to get 15% off. I like Brainfuel a lot. And they like me. They like poker. They support poker players. So, actually, they don't support me. They don't pay me anything. I just like them. Anyway, give it a try. But yeah, if you're a degenerate, you got to get your life under control. I'm sure there are some people out there who know that I'm talking to you. And I know that you are probably, I'm not going to say embarrassed, but maybe you are embarrassed. If you know that you have problems in your life, you have to fix them, right? And you need to very clearly define the problem, and you need to get rid of the problem. Again, this book, Atomic Habits, will discuss, pinpointing the problem, making the problem really unattractive to you, like injecting logic into the situation, right? We'll discuss replacing the habits. So you got to make sure that you just get that thing out of your life. Let's say you want to stop drinking alcohol. Instead of every time you have a craving for alcohol, maybe instead you have a bowl of soup or lemon water, right? I know it's not going to give you the same buzz. You're not going to get drunk, but you're trying to not get drunk, right? It's going to be a little bit hard initially, but that's going to help you get off of that thing. You've been playing 5 to 10 tournaments per day online, which is not a lot. Is that good volume for a recreational player? What is that good volume? Good volume is very relative. So, let's say 5 tournaments per day is 150 per month. If you're playing 500-person tournaments, that means you'll win 1 tournament every 3 months on average. If you're break even, maybe you'll win 2 every 3 months on average. So you're going to have a lot of swings, which is fine, right? You know you're playing tournaments. You think doing quizzes on poker coaching is a good substitute for playing, given you're not playing live at the moment? Yeah, absolutely. Would you ever go on Joe Rogan's podcast if invited? Sure, I go on all sorts of podcasts. Happy to talk to anybody. The only way to progress is to progress. Yeah, you got to sit down and figure out what you want and what you desire and what you want to do. People talk to me all the time who have bankroll issues where they're always complaining about being broke, but then when you look at their finances, they spend a lot of money on some nonsense, whatever it may be. It can even be educational nonsense, right? Maybe they spend money on get-rich-quick schemes, or maybe they spend their money on shoes. And you got to realize that if you want to get money long-term, you have to not spend all of your money, right? Easy way to build a bankroll is to just work a lot and not spend your money. Long time ago, when I was a young poker player, I didn't cash out any money. I started with $50. Look at this. I have literally double my bankroll just chilling on my desk. We have double my starting bankroll back whenever I was an 18-year-old kid. We have double the bankroll sitting on the desk just in a pile. Look at this. We have literally pocket money, right? And I did not cash out any of it. I cashed out $0. I turned the $50. When did I first cash out? I think I had about $100,000 and I cashed out 1,000, 1%. You want to know why? Because I realized that I was trying to grow a bankroll. My goal was not to spend my money on stuff. My goal was to grow my bankroll, period. I wanted to grow my bankroll. So if I cash money out of the online site, that was essentially not growing my bankroll. It was the opposite. Now, of course, I should not have left all of my money on the poker sites. I got lucky in that I was playing on a legitimate poker site like Party Poker. If you play on the illegal, unregulated sites, please don't keep your money on there. But you get what I'm saying, right? I did not spend any of my money. And that was my goal, right? I had a very clearly defined goal that I want to grow my bankroll. I want to get a hold of some money so I can be financially secure, right? And I did it. A lot of people think they have that goal, though. One of my friends, whenever we played poker in Pensacola, back where I'm from, every time I won, I just saved the money. Every time he won, he bought a new CD. He particularly liked Eminem. Every time he won, $50, $100, whatever we could win in our games, he would go and spend the majority of that money on CDs. And after a year of this, he had a bunch of CDs. He was proud of his CD collection. I didn't have any CDs. I just had a box of money. And, you know, I'm sure he got plenty of enjoyment out of his Eminem CDs. But he's not a poker player anymore. I know that. He's got a bunch of CDs, though. And you got to prepare for the future. You have to set yourself up to continuously crush it. And, poker is a great way to win a bunch of money if you apply yourself and if you study and if you have discipline. All you really have to do to win at poker, 3 things. 3 things only. Find a game you can beat, play it a lot, and keep a proper bankroll. That's all you have to do. That's all you have to do. And most people don't want to do those things. They don't want to play in games they can beat. They want to play in games that are a little bit too tough for them, and they also don't want to study. Next, they don't want to play a lot. They want to play 1 tournament per weekend. You don't want to play 1 tournament per weekend because you're not putting in any volume. And they don't want to keep a proper bankroll. They want to play too big. They want to gamble. They want to feel the excitement. So many poker players come to me saying something to the effect of, oh, I just like playing big because it gets me excited. I don't want to be excited when I'm playing. I want to be chill when I'm playing so that I can make good decisions. When you get excited, you are inevitably, your brain's going to be bouncing all over the place and it's not going to go well for you. So you want to make sure that you are chill when you're playing, which turns out keeping a very proper bankroll will help with. So anyway, find a game you can beat, play it a lot, keep a proper bankroll. Let's see. Sounds like I gamified my approach. Yeah, grow your bankroll. It's not all that hard. If the number goes up, you win. If the number goes down, you don't win. You have a vision that JL's office is flooded with $100 bills. Look, we got pocket money, you know? We got $400 pocket money. It's all the money is in this office, $400. We got some gold bracelets. Let me show you a gold bracelet. Look at this. Back in the day, if you won a tournament at Bellagio, they would give you a... How many karat gold is this? Does it say on the back? I think it says it somewhere if I can find it. It's like 18 karat gold, 20 karat gold, something like that. Anyway, I remember back in the day, this thing was worth $5,000. If you won a tournament at Bellagio, they give you a $5,000 gold bracelet. It's just sitting here in the office, you know. Just chilling. Let's see. So you're telling me that we pirated music. I actually just didn't listen to music because I did not think that helped me get smarter. Let's see. I know some people aren't going to like that comment. I actually don't listen to a lot of music at all. How do you get motivation to clean your house? Realize you don't want to be gross, so clean your house. How many buy-ins do you need in your bankroll? Depends on your win rate. Check out pokercoaching.com/bankroll. Oh, I gotta go. Yeah, you're right. We have a poker coaching webinar starting soon. We're going to be going through a pretty neat spot in a 3-bet pot where you are out of position. If you're a poker coaching member, make sure you hop in there. Check that out at pokercoaching.com. We have the homework session starting in 10 minutes. Also, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 10 a.m. when we are not doing another webinar. There's also a study session ran by Louis Philippe, who is here in the chat. Hello, Louis Philippe. Hope you're having a great day. Thanks for all of that. And make sure you get into study sessions. Make sure you learn a ton. What's my favorite online site if I had to pick one? Probably have to go with Party Poker. I like Party Poker. They do a lot of great things. It's kind of tough because Party Poker is trying to do everything completely by the book, whereas some of the other sites are like completely breaking the rules, and some of the other sites are like, kind of breaking the rules, but not so egregiously. But Party Poker is straight playing by the rules, so I like that. The problem is that excludes some people, like Americans, and I don't get to play on the site unless I'm out of the country, so it's a bit of a bummer. That said, whenever Americans get their act together, they'll be the ones welcomed in because they are not criminals. Turns out if you're not a criminal, people like to work with you. If you are a criminal, well, people may not like to work with you. Well, criminals like to work with you, but non-criminals, maybe not so much. All right, have a great day. Enjoy yourselves. Figure out what you want in life and get it. You only have one life to live. Please, 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 please don't squander your time. Make the most of it. Hope you have a great day. If you enjoyed this, do me a favor, click the like and subscribe buttons below. I appreciate all of you. Good luck and have fun. Thanks for being here, and I will talk to you all later. If you're a poker coaching member, again, we have the homework webinar starting now. If you're not a poker coaching member, go to pokercoaching.com, sign up, and hop in the webinar. We're going to use GTO solvers, player pool tendencies, etc., to discuss how to play a pretty cool spot where you raise, get 3-bet out from when you're out of position. You have to play from there. It's a nasty spot.